Hi, this is Delegate Patrick Hope, and I want to welcome you back to my fifth legislative update from Richmond, where I highlight key issues covered during the week. Early this week was crossover, the midway point where legislation that has passed one chamber crosses over to the other for consideration. Anything that hasn't passed one body is considered defeated for the year. This was also a week where the House and Senate presented their budgets, the House being controlled by Republicans by a slim majority, and the Senate, controlled by Democrats, presented wildly different visions for Virginia. Before I get into any details, I've always believed that budgets are about our values. If you show me a budget of any state, I can tell you what they value the most. Budgets are also about choices, and Republicans have made their choices noticeably clear in this budget. They are not working to lower the cost of the things that we all depend on the most, like lower housing, healthcare, and energy costs. Virginia is amid in a strong economy with a surplus. Instead of using the surplus to fund unmet needs or to help Virginia families, the Republican plan proposes to give big corporations over $350 million in tax breaks, while most Virginia households will get less than $50. For example, a new teacher in Arlington wouldn't even get $50 in the Republican plan, but meanwhile, corporations will receive a decrease in taxes already on top of the $4 billion in cuts we passed last year. As a result, the unmet needs in our schools, our roads, and our healthcare will continue to grow and will be unmet. The Senate Democrat budget, rather than cutting taxes on corporations, includes about $640 million more in additional direct aid for local public schools, higher education, and even preschools compared to the House plan. The Senate plan prioritizes larger investments in additional support staff, reading specialists, instructors for English learners, and funding for high poverty school divisions. The Senate budget also puts in more than $200 million in funding for community behavioral health services to help with individuals with mental illness and substance abuse. The House Democrats attempted to amend the House budget, but Republicans defeat all of our amendments. Those amendments would have fully funded our public schools, raised teacher pay to the national average, protect a woman's right to choose, and address the rise in violent crime by investing in proven community-based violence intervention programs. Unfortunately, Republicans defeated all those amendments, and I therefore voted against the House budget. Now, the process shifts where the House and Senate trade budgets, and the bills are headed to a conference committee where negotiations and working with Governor Youngkin will reconcile their differences. But I want to make very, very clear, I will not support a budget that prioritizes corporate tax cuts and doesn't invest more money, more funding in our public schools and behavioral health. Virginians are being stretched too thin due to inflation, and Republicans are proposing middle-class Virginians pay a higher tax rate than our wealthiest corporations. So that's all the time I have for right now. If you have a question or a comment, please feel free to call, email me, or visit my office in Richmond during session. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you back here next week.